I'm hearing a lot of buzz about these 5 players. I believe they're completely overhyped. I'm going to kill that buzz. We're going to do a buzz kill on 5 fantasy football running backs that are overhyped. Now, you can make this argument about guys like Christian McCaffrey who's overhyped. The guy's proven it before. These 5 running backs, I've got actual statistical information that turns me off of them, that makes me say, hey, I don't want to draft these guys. I don't trust these guys. I do not believe in these guys, yet the mainstream can sheeps this guys. And if you guys don't know the Can Sheeps song, here it is. Right? The mainstream Can Sheeps love these guys. Right? Can you hear the sheep? Yes, you guys know the song. So the mainstream love them. I'm going to talk about why they're overhyped. 5 running backs, guys, in this show. Big episode. Let's get to it. All right, guys, we are in full flow draft season. Make sure you get the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it here below. Use code TUBE20. Save yourself 20%. Get the solution, guys. Get the championship. Very, very simple. It's not complicated. I laid out to you on a silver platter. Get 16 rounds. Draft kits are dead. Consensus rankings are dead. 16 rounds. Get it below. Secondly, the show is brought to you by Manscaped.com. In my hands, I've got the most comfortable underwear on the planet, approved by the counselor because I'm wearing them right now. My balls aren't sticking to my pants. Guys, these underwear, I'm telling you, Boxers 2.0, manscaped.com, shower line 20. Go to the site right now. Treat yourself. Go right now. They've got the trimmer. They've got cologne. They've got body wash. They've got shampoo. They got nose hair trimmers. They've got everything you need to stay fresh and look amazing. Manscaped.com. Go treat yourself and save yourself at checkout. Shower line 20 is the code you want to use. Guys, I mean, why not? Go treat yourself. Are you buying, basic shampoo and conditioner? No, this is amazing product, guys. Again, Manscaped.com smells amazing. Great ingredients. Go check the ingredients as well on the bottle of the shampoo and body wash. Right now, Manscaped.com, shower line 20. Go to the site, treat yourself. Get the boxers, get the trimmer, get the shampoo. Let me know how it goes. DM me. I'm curious to see how comfortable you are with the product and how happy you are, all right? Now, let's dive into the show. Let's get to it. Now, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, thumbs up, subscribe, thumbs up, subscribe, thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button. It takes 1 second of your time. Gets this message and the truth out to more people because that's very, very important, okay? And I'm so hyped, guys. We are here. It is fantasy football season. This is it, guys. Everybody's hyped up. Everybody's excited. I know you're excited. You can tell. You feel the energy. Football's around the corner. And story time with the counselor, I've never been so excited about a football season for so many reasons. Number one, with 16 rounds, guys, everybody's happy because they're going to have an optimal roster. We've been crushed it the past couple years. And you're going in with a roster that you know is going to dominate, right? So that's important. So my fantasy teams, I've done my drafts. I know it's early. The earlier I draft, the better I do because I know where the sleepers are before everyone starts picking up on them. So excited about that. Excited about the young talent in Justin Fields. I want to see what he does. I want to see what Zach Wilson does. I want to see what Davis Mills does. I want to see what Tua does in Miami. There's so many questions. I want to see what Breece Hall does. Excited to see his explosiveness. I want to see the return of Saquon Barkley. Guys, there's so much to be excited about this season. I'm pumped up. I can't contain the excitement anymore. So big season this year. I'm excited. You're excited. Smash thumbs up. Fantasy football is a go. And now I'm going to kill your buzz after all that. Okay, so there's 5 running backs here that I'm telling you guys are completely overrated, completely overhyped. So stop the hype. Let's talk about who these guys are and why you should avoid them. So running back, I would say they're running backs to avoid. You could do that, but I'm just giving you a heads up on why I'm staying away from them. First guy here. This one's Captain Obvious. If you listen to my channel, you're like, Joe, you talk about it all the time. By the way, I left Austin Eckler off this list. Another guy's overhyped. Had a pinnacle year. He's declining too, but I'm not going to talk about Austin Eckler, even though I just did right now. Isaiah Spiller is going to be a buzz kill. Okay, besides the fact I'm avoiding Austin Eckler, who's way too overhyped, but there's a bonus one for you. But the first running back, guys, that is overhyped, I had to throw a jab at Eckler, but the first one is Alvin Cook. Now, Joe, you always say this, we get it. Obviously, it hasn't sunken in with everybody because the mainstream consensus still have this guy at number 4. My noise with Saquon Barkley has been making an impact because Saquon Barkley went from 17th on the consensus to number 10 on the consensus. Why? Because they're finally realizing it's a contract year and Saquon Barkley is due for a massive one. Like, come on, guys, wake up. He's a workhorse with no committee and a focal point of the Giants offense. Now they're riding that train. Dalvin Cook, they just seem to be riding. They love him. It's weird. They copy and paste almost 90% of their rankings, yet they know that Dalvin Cook had a crappy year last year, yet they still put him on the top 10. It's absolutely ludicrous. Like, they put him at number 4 on the consensus in PPR. This is a guy that busted last year. This should have been a lesson. It should have been a lesson to you 2 to 3 years ago when he missed your fantasy football championships. Imagine drafting a guy first, second, third overall, and he misses your fantasy football championships. Guys, I would be livid if my starting running back was not there in the fantasy football championships. I would, fool me once, right? Shame on you, right? Fool me twice, shame on me. So again, or whatever the saying is, shame on me, shame on you. You guys get the point. I still got to get that saying down. Dalvin Cook finished 16th last year. I want to talk about this. 16th amongst running backs. Now he's sitting 4th. This guy has not finished a season in how many years now? Going into his 6th season. He has not finished a season in 5 years, playing 4 games in year 1, playing 11 games in year 2. That's an indicator right there, guys. His first 2 seasons playing a total of, 14, 15 games. That's it. 15 games in 2 seasons, guys. Acceptable. Then everyone started riding the train and all that. I was excited about him in his rookie year. I'm like, this guy could be good. 2 years, crap the bed. Then after that, 14 years, misses your fantasy football championship. 14 games in 2019, misses your fantasy football championships. 2020, played 14 games, had a decent year, had his pinnacle year. Okay, 16 touchdowns, 1,557 yards, but only played 14 games, missed a couple crucial games for you, but that was his pinnacle year. Got paid, got incentivized. Now he's done. This is it. He's hit his pinnacle. His pinnacle was 2020. That's it. He's done. Game over. And another thing, you draft Alvin Cook, you are guaranteed to miss games. Like, you are guaranteed he's going to miss games. Like, this isn't like, maybe he's going to miss games. No. If you got to ask yourself, okay, if you got to say when you're drafting a player, I kind of said this to myself the other day. Maybe I mentioned it in another video or somewhere. If I got to ask myself, right, with my first running back, if I'm picking this guy top 4 overall, hey, I'm going to draft this guy, but I got to make sure I got to waste another draft pick on his handcuff, on his backup in Madison. I'm not drafting him. For that reason alone. Forget the fact that he hasn't finished the season. Forget the fact that he busted last year. Forget all that stuff. The fact that this guy literally, seriously, has not finished the season and busted last year is good enough reason for me. You want to play fantasy football roulette where guaranteed he's going to miss 3 games window minimum? Go ahead and do that. I'm not. He's way too overhyped. Way too overhyped. 1 good year in 5. He does not deserve to be in the top 10. He does not deserve to be drafted. He does not deserve to be in the NFL, period. He should have never got paid, should have never got incentivized. They should have really focused on building up Madison because he's been a lot durable and he could do the same job in that offense. Dalvin Cook, done for me. Second overhyped player, and I don't see this. The second guy just blows me away, okay? Absolutely blows me away. And by the way, if you guys want to get all the answers on all the optimal players, make sure you guys get the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it below, guys. Get that. That'll help you guys crush your leagues, okay? Get 16 rounds, and you can avoid these players and get the right running backs, okay? So, the guy I'm talking about here next is DAndre Swift. I'm not seeing the hype here on Swift at all. This guy's sitting 7th on the Concheapsis rankings. It blows my mind. This guy finished 15th last year, played 13 games, 151 attempts. Here's the deal, guys, okay? Going into his 3rd season, he's on the Detroit Lions. Now, I like the Lions offense a little bit better. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown as a receiver. I think Goff will be relatively efficient. They've got Hawkinson. They've got a couple weapons there, okay? But here's the deal. When I look at a guy like DAndre Swift going into his 3rd season, who was a 2nd-round pick in 2020, 35th overall out of Georgia backs, they're good. The guy can run. The guy can catch. He can do it all. But he's 5'9", 208. He's on the Detroit Lions. Okay, this guy peaked, and I want to say this, and I want to emphasize, peaked at 151 attempts. When I'm looking at a workhorse running back, if I'm drafting a running back early, especially end of 1st round, early 2nd, I want a guy, guys. I want a guy that's going to get the full workhorse running back load. I don't want a guy who's peaked in his career at 617 rushing yards. That's really unacceptable, right? He had 8 touchdowns year 1, 114 attempts, 521 yards. And last year, 151 attempts, 617 yards, 4.1 yards per carry, 13 games the past 2 seasons. Hasn't finished a season. Are we starting to see a Dalvin Cook trend here? Bottom line is, just the fact that he's on the Lions. Lions have not produced a top 10 running back since I don't know when. I should have went back and looked at the stat. I didn't, because it's been so far back. I just didn't feel like going back that far. But I'll tell you this. Let me just, I'm going to do it right now as we're on the call together here, right? As we're on the call, I'm going to take a quick look back a couple years. I'm going to just go back a couple, even if they haven't done something in 1 year. So 2020, they didn't. And I'm trying to emphasize the point. I'm glad I'm doing this on with you guys now. In 2019, I don't see a Lions running back in the top 10. Right now we're going back a couple years. Let's go 2018. I'm just checking out the stats here. 2018, I don't see a Lions running back even in the top 20. Right? I don't, like, guys. There was Kerryon Johnson, who finished 34th amongst running backs in 2018. Okay, I'm gonna keep going back. Let's go a couple more years, because again, I want to emphasize the fact, I want this to sink in, that the running backs are not top 10 on the Lions. If you're on the Lions, you're not producing a top 10 running back. Now I'm going back to 2017, and I don't see a top 10 running back in 2017. Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, Alvin Kamara, Kareem Hunt, Melvin Gordon, Mark Ingram, LaShawn McCoy, Carlos Hyde, Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey. I don't see a Detroit Lions running back even in the top 20. Oh, it was Amir Abdullah, who finished 40th that year, I think was the top running back there in 2017. Do you want me to keep going? If you guys could fast forward, we're going to keep proving a point here. We're back in 2016. I don't see a Lions running back here in the top 10, never mind even in the top 20 here. That year, man, I don't even see one here. That's 2016. Do you guys get the point? Like, they don't produce top 10 running backs. Like, history shows us. DAndre Swift, yes, he's talented. Yes, there's a possible ceiling there. I get it. I see what you're saying. But am I going to risk a second-round pick and an important, crucial second-round pick where I need a workhorse running back? Am I going to invest on a guy like DAndre Swift? Absolutely not. No. Number 8 on the consensus, ahead of guys like Barkley, ahead of guys like Zeke Elliott, ahead of guys like Breece Hall, ahead of guys like David Montgomery, ahead of guys that could actually really genuinely finish ahead of them. It's crazy, that are in prime positions where there's really minimal committee or no committee, and are workhorses that are guaranteed 220 plus attempts. And you're looking at a guy who, okay, he can catch some balls, big deal. Like, he's not going to get the attempts. So overhyped is DAndre Swift. Forget about him, okay? Coming in number 3 here, I'm not going to spend too much time on him. He's going into, I believe, his 6th season here, is Aaron Jones. This is a guy who had 2 1,000-yard rushing seasons in the past 5 years, has only finished 1 season his entire career, which is 2019. Obviously, he's a factor in that receiving game. We get it. But I talked about this in several other videos. If you missed them, I feel sorry for you. If you draft Aaron Jones, I feel sorry for you, but there is something for you guys need to be aware of. I'm going to give it to you guys right now so that you guys are aware, and you guys go into the season knowing this if you draft Aaron Jones. Understand, guys, this is an important, crucial fact if you're drafting Aaron Jones. I want you guys to understand this if you're drafting Aaron Jones. Now, I'm wearing a Green Bay hat. It's not because of Aaron Jones. I'm wearing it because I like Christian Watson. I think there's upside there, possibly Romeo Doubs. I like Robert Tonyan. I think there's a ton of upside with those receivers this year. Running backs, I'm fading unless I get Dillon as a value. But I want you to remember one thing. That's all I got to tell you about Aaron Jones going into the season. And that is A.J. Dillon was the RB1 last year. He had 187 attempts compared to 171 from Aaron Jones. Now, typically, when you look at a committee, the person that gets the most attempts is the RB1, because that's the guy getting the more volume, right? They're using him more. Okay, well, you say, well, Joe, attempts aren't a big deal, right? Aaron Jones is still the one. Well, who had more rushing yards? A.J. Dillon did. He had 803 rushing yards compared to 799 of Aaron Jones. Well, you're saying, Joe, it's only 4 more rushing yards. But when we're judging a RB1 compared to an RB2, we look at rushing attempts and we look at rushing yards. And A.J. Dillon had most of them. Okay, let's continue. Well, Joe, that's not enough. I need more. Give me more, Joe. Give me more. Okay, 5 touchdowns for A.J. Dillon on the ground compared to Aaron Jones that's had 4 touchdowns on the ground. Is that enough for you? Okay, well, Joe, well, Aaron Jones had 6 receiving touchdowns. Aaron Jones had 2 receiving touchdowns. Okay, fine. He beat him a little bit in the receiving game. A little bit. The point I'm trying to make is you guys are drafting Aaron Jones, in round 2, typically, and you guys are thinking you're getting a workhorse running back when, in fact, he's really the running back 2 on the team behind Dillon. So the point I'm trying to make is you're overpaying for Aaron Jones when he's in a split committee where the backup is getting more volume than him. You need to be aware of that because Aaron Jones is completely overhyped. Now, the only argument you can make is, well, Joe, Adams is gone. He's got to get more receptions. Whatever, possibly. But they've got a ton of receivers there that are going to step up, including Christian Watson, who I love as a sleeper this year. That's a no for me, overhyped Aaron Jones. Next guy, I got two other guys that I think are overhyped this year. This guy's ADP isn't too high. Aaron Jones, obviously 9th. DAndre Swift, obviously 7th. Alvin Cook, 4th on the consensus rankings. This guy's sitting 18th. The guy I'm talking about is Travis Etienne. Guy's not played a snap in the NFL. I heard James Robinson I had the beat writer on. James Robinson is the RB1. Now, James Robinson has some consistent years. Obviously got hurt last year with the Achilles. Some people say the only excuse to this is when I say James Robinson's the one, it's going to be a committee. Etienne's overhyped, is that James Robinson, guys, you got to understand, is the RB1, and he is back. He is training with first team right now, and he hasn't gone to full contact, but he will be. He'll be ready to go. He's going to be a goal line vulture. He is the guy. He's the RB1. Etienne's got that rapport with Trevor Lawrence. I get it. I see that. I see the upside. I see the talent. But I still think no matter what, Robinson's going to hinder the upside of Travis Etienne. And the biggest problem I'm seeing right now is a zero RB strategy where people are drafting wide receivers early. They're going Adams and Tyreek, who are literally copied and pasted from last year's rankings where they had better quarterbacks, and they're going to see less volume this year, are copied and pasted. They're going Adams, they're going Tyreek, guys like that. And then they're getting Etienne as like their RB1. And that is a huge, huge risk because you're putting all your faith in your RB1 in Etienne when all the workhorse running backs are gone because Lion mentality, Sheeps aren't seeing this, but the Lions, the 16 rounders, are getting those workhorse running backs, leaving you guys, the guys that are the Sheeps, that if you're watching this, right, and if you aren't subscribed to this channel, and if you haven't gotten 16 rounds, and if you're not in the Patreon group, or if you're not, part of the 365 community, right, I've linked them all below, get in, then you guys are going to be in trouble, right? If Etienne's your number one. Now, again, that being said, he could have a high ceiling, could do well, but he's a total boom bust. I don't trust Etienne, hasn't played a snap in the NFL. Mind you, he was injured the second preseason game last year, so I can't say he hasn't played in the NFL. He hasn't played a real NFL regular season game, for that matter. Etienne is, for me, I think he's overhyped. I know you're saying 18th, so it's not really overhyped. He is, because a lot of people are drafting him as their RB1, going 0 RB, which is the stupidest thing you could do this year. Absolute stupidity. Okay, so number 4, overhyped. Number 5 here, I got to go over some stats here with this guy. The guy I'm talking about here is James Conner. Like, the overhype is unreal. Now, you're saying, well, Joe, he's only sitting 15th amongst running backs in PPR. Not huge, in regards to draft capital. It is pretty huge. You're getting them end of second. You're getting them third round sometimes. Some people reach end of second, whatever. You're looking at a guy. When I look at James Conner, I want to break this down for you, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Again, I could have went, I think Christian McCaffrey's overhyped, but he's got stats that actually back him up that show that he could finish top 5, right? Like, I get it. Like, I can't really debate Christian McCaffrey because I think that's subjective. I just don't want to spend early draft capital on him. He's played 10 games the past 2 seasons. I get Christian McCaffrey is overhyped, but I can't really dive into the stats like I am right now. When I look at a guy like James Conner, I have stats. I have information. He's going into his 6th season. This guy, now I want you guys to write this down, okay? Isn't that big of a, receiving pass catching back. He's really not. I mean, what do you have? 37 receptions last year. Okay, he can catch the ball. He had 3 receiving touchdowns. Okay, he can catch a little bit. Okay, nothing to get excited about. But the biggest key factor I want you guys to notice here, two things, right, that really turned me off James Conner this year. Number 1, he's never had a 1,000-yard rushing season. So you guys are drafting him, and again, similar. 0 RB, I can get James Conner in the 3rd, 4th round, whatever, if he falls. I'm good. No, you're not. Zero seasons with 1,000 yards rushing. The most rushing yards he's ever had in a season were 973 in 2018. He played 13 games with the Steelers, and he had 12 rushing touchdowns. That was because he was a product of the offense, similar to the same way Le'Veon Bell was. Now, this year, Arizona, he's in there, and he's going to be the full workhorse running back. Potentially, they've got Darrell Williams, who sucks. They got Benjamin, who's done nothing. Could shine if he had the opportunity. But when I look at this guy's, 0 1,000-yard rushing seasons. Last year had a peak of 15 rushing touchdowns. Could that happen again? Possibly. But again, another problem with him is he hasn't finished a season. He's not finished a full season. Injury bug has kind of gotten to him over the past couple years, over his entire career. Never had a 1,000-yard rushing season. Coming off his pinnacle, astronomical 15 rushing touchdown season. So big time decline. And again, I give the consensus credit on this one. They didn't copy and paste him because he finished top 5 last year. Now they've got him 15th. So they are actually factoring in a regression. This is wow. The Chiefs has got one right. Is there an applause button? Yeah. All right. There we go. The Chiefs is getting applause. Congratulations. Okay. So James Conner, when you look at him, do I trust him? Absolutely not. Do I feel safe with him as my RB1, RB2? Absolutely not. Would I draft him as an RB4, RB5 in the 10th round? Absolutely sure. Why not? But other than that, I don't trust him. Can't rush over 1,000 yards to save his life. Can't finish a season to save his life. Came off a pinnacle season on Arizona where Kyler Murray likes to run the ball and scramble like a crazy chicken running for its life at the slaughterhouse. I don't care about this offense. I really don't care about the Arizona Cardinals. They could take care and comb their hair. I don't care. I hate this offense. Okay, I don't trust them. I don't care about them. I think Kyler Murray got overpaid. Bottom line, we're gonna see how he does. Another reason why I'm excited to see how the season goes, because I'm not sold on Kyler Murray being a great quarterback. He reminds me of like Carson Wentz getting overpaid. The $128 million with the Eagles where I lost my crap. Obviously, Kyler has a little more upside, a little more talent. I get it, but it is what it is. Anyway, back to James Conner. I don't trust him. So Alvin Cook, DAndre Swift, Aaron Jones, Travis Etienne, James Conner, players to avoid, running backs to avoid. Do not draft. Do not draft these fantasy football running backs. There's better options. If you want to know who they are, get the 16-round draft session. I linked it below. Use code TUBE20. That's TUB20. Get it. And head over to manscaped.com. Use code ShowerLine20. Go treat yourself, guys. You deserve it. I'm out. Subscribe, thumbs up. And I'll see you in the groups below. Patreon.com/FFCounselor. See you in the communities. We'll talk soon. I'm out.